Audio 1. Brothers and sisters, this is your brother ESSA BOKARR on the second part of the audiovisual, while we continue reeling on the live shows of Radio Gambia. And this second part is entitled as follows: Gambian political parties and leadership within their sphere. UDP has chosen a new leader. Now what about the older parties? Or what about other old parties? There are parties that are as old as UDP or even older than UDP, with the same names, the same images, and the same characters right before our eyes for all these years. In life, change is the only guarantee. Let us practice what we preach. How about some younger and newer flag bearers who are below the age of the old hands be ushered to the stage at this point? It will all add to the steam, zeal, and will. Don't tell me UDP did it because their leader is in jail. No, I beg to differ on that one. Why? Because throughout history, we have been seeing jailed party leaders or movement leaders get elected or selected while serving a sentence. Whatever the circumstances, I respect the United Democratic Party for listening to time, thus respect it while opening their arms to change. With reference to the aforesaid, save Mama Kande, Dr. Ture and Adama Barrow, I would suggest that others, beginning with the APRC, change their flag bearers too. Why not these parties select female flag bearers or youngsters? Remember, women and young ones are usually the first victims of tyrants. Therefore, seeing them in front will make a big difference within the geopolitical arena. Well, or what do you think? Let thoughts fly forth. Like my good old friend used to say, George Sarr, va pensiero. Critical thinking is the conference hall here. We are going to suggest this. What we have is to give our opinions, or we cannot control anybody. But we are also not going to allow anybody to dictate us. At this point of time, I think society should be very much frank within and outside. If you are calling for change, begin with yourself. And that is what we are trying to look into at this point. Imagine if we are talking about coalition in the Gambia, wouldn't it be easier if you have youngsters as party leaders and the incumbent party leaders would exclude themselves from the active side of it as far as running the party is concerned, and then involve themselves in it in another active side of things, which is to be the think tank, to overlook the activities of the existing new political party leaders and guide them with facts without fear or favor. They are much better positioned to handle that than anybody else. At that point, I believe they can usher things and become a compass, or they will be able to galvanize support and then make sure that the coalition comes into effect. Even though some of us do say that presidential elections are not far away, even though someone like me and others are not so keen into believing that change can come through the ballot box when the field is not, like the situation is not conducive. Regardless of the fact that some reservations, which includes my very self, that doesn't mean that we are absolutely right. Therefore, where the name of the Gambia is put on the table, we all have the right to talk about what is being diagnosed. because that is why we have difference in political opinion, and that is what leads to the beautiful side of that cloth called consensus, which we should all wear. Now, that is why I believe if we are talking about change, we should begin with ourselves. Leadership in any of these political parties should also be challenged, because there is room for change, and those political parties also should accept to change their leadership. The images and the characters we have been seeing over the years should also think twice and give way to younger ones to stand there. There are those who believe in this, that there are other political party members who haven't attained the age of 65, which for me I find ridiculous, because who is the one who brought us this 65 age thing? Is Yaya Jammeh. There is nothing like age limit. It's only in the Gambia. So we are playing into Yaya Jammeh's hands too. To that effect, the way to change that is to change ourselves. I am calling for other political parties also to think about grooming and handing over the leadership of that party to people who they believe have already been disciplined and then educated on what the principle and the philosophy of that very what the respective parties are. We have to be ready to import truth if we export truth. Stay tuned. I will come forward and do the translations in Wolof for the benefit of our listeners home and abroad, and then that will be our program today. This is your brother Issa BOKARR say. Thank you.